because Savage was a tremendous athlete. He was kind of bonkers upstairs. I loved him to death. But I mean, Randy, I mean, we're just talking, watch that red light. You're coming up, you're driving, I'm talking. But Randy was, when he got to become the macho man, he was Macho Man 24 hours a day. I mean, when he took that gimmick, that was him. I mean, when you met him at 8 o'clock in the morning, he was Macho Man. If you met him at 11 o'clock at night, he was Macho Man. Randy Poffo kind of died out, and Macho Man took his place. And he even talked the same way. And, oh, yeah, man, yeah. And, and he talked with his,
What, in the car he did this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, when I say 24 hours, literally 24 hours at breakfast. In the book, I write a story about Randy Savage in a Waffle House in Nashville on a Wednesday night. We used to run, that was the night of wrestling in Nashville, was Wednesday night. So he went in there one Wednesday night in a Waffle. You've seen Waffle Houses.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think we know the Waffle House story, and it's your most popular video ever on WSI, in fact.
Is it really?
120,000 people have clicked on that video, something like that, and watched that story.
Is a great story. But but I'm so telling the people now who've never watched it, I mean, they need to click on that and the story very shortly is he goes into Waffle House, gets in a big fight with the cook, and the police come and the dogs come and they put him in jail. And oh man, it's tremendous. But that was Randy being Randy. I mean, and if you just say, and what made Randy was, wrestling in Nashville wasn't that strong when I got here. It had been in the past, but territories go up and down. Well, when me and Randy got there, and so it's like you running your channels back in the day, you didn't have that many. Click, click, and then you run across Savage. Oh yeah, man. And then you click one and you say, wait a minute, what was that? And you click back. Oh yeah, man, Macho. You have to watch him because he got over instantly because he was so different than the other wrestlers they had ever seen at that time, and very, very entertaining. I remember I wrestled him one night in Nashville, and this is just a short story. The match was so good when I left, the guy said, here's for your efforts. And this was this is 30 years ago. He put a bill in my hand because I'm blind as a bat. I couldn't tell. So I just put my hand around it, got to the back, and guess what that bill was? I'm expecting a 10, no more than a 20. It's $100 bill. $100 bill back in those days was like a $500 tip today. I'm saying, what the hell? I said, the guy must have really enjoyed the match, or he had a bet on it or something. But he give me $100. So, but I really enjoyed all the matches I had with him, because if you went in the ring with Randy, and I know we're not scheduled, I'm just talking. If you went in a match with Randy and you weren't prepared, he'd beat the living crap out of you. Because if you left your aggression in the dressing room, because he brought his every night. He was wired to the string. Ding. It was a tightly wound string. And unless you could stay with him, he would just beat you up. And and I don't know, it seems like somebody would have to get really amped up, maybe chemically amped up, to have that much energy focused at one time. And that could have been a possibility, but he was ready to go at all times. And if you weren't ready to go with him, too bad.
I think this call is a famous call for the Ultimate Warrior, but it probably applies to Randy Savage as well, that he's so amped up he makes coffee nervous.
Oh yeah, he did. I mean, Sometimes I'd look at Savage and he would just he's ready to explode, you know. And he may have, and the Warrior was like that too. So Warrior, he's a little bit different. He was wired a little bit differently too, but he wasn't wide open like Randy was. You know, I mean, his body would be, but in his talking and all, Randy. And it occurred to me one time, you know, Randy, especially in a town like Nashville, Southern town, people weren't used to seeing his type around. It's a wonder he didn't get shot. So I guess he just knew, well, everybody knew him anyway. So, because he was all over the TV.
When you say shot, you've seen the film Easy Rider?
Yes.
Yeah, you know that scene where they're in some cafeteria somewhere and there's a couple of locals who are looking at him and they've got long hair and they're just going, they basically just call him a load of names and basically threaten to kill them. Mm-hmm. Was it sort of the same for Randy because he had the long hair and was outrageous clothes and stuff like that? Was he just making a target of himself for certain people?
Well, the long hair didn't matter that much because a lot of local people had long hair, so I don't think that was. But it was kind of blonde, so that's kind of a blonde hair is kind of a red flag. So, and people looking at him, you know, they could tell that he wasn't local. But, and he stood out. Randy, he would stand out in a local bar. So, but Randy, he was so amped up that it was almost like a defense. You know, if I'm going to fight a guy and he's all amped up, you know, I'm saying, wait a minute, you know, there's something strange about this. You ever hear a song that, Adrian Street did?
There's something strange about a cowboy. Yes, I have.
He used to sing that song to me, you know, and he'd play it when he would wrestle me. He'd say something strange about a cowboy. I always see Adrian Street's another one who was beyond his time. Randy was, you know, ahead of his time. So was Adrian, but he was like decades ahead of his time. Very smart man, and he's still alive, right?
I interviewed him a few months ago. In fact, I may even ask him if he wants to be a guest on this show sometime. The only problem is I think he's a bit deaf and he's got a really bad setup at home, you know, for audio. So I think that's why he's got Linda behind him, basically shouting the same questions that I've just asked.
Mm-hmm. Well, I loved Adrian. Great guy, you know. And somebody said, "Well, don't get too cute with him; he'll stretch you." I said, bull crap." And he was laughing when he had me ring. He said, "Hey, mate, if I wanted to," he pulled my arm. I said, "Oh, you got my vote. You got my vote. Okay, let's go." So,